Hey, Stephanie here. This is what I do on Thursday nights, guess. If you can Oh wait, it's covering my time. You can't know what time it is. Great. Okay, so I promised I'd make this video. I already tried and failed, but I'm gonna try again one more time. So, this is how to do the matrix chain. It's really easy. Okay, first off is identifying what your dimensions are, just right off the bat, because you need them for the formula, for this part of the formula, because these are your dimensions, okay? So, first off, this is your first dimension, so that's D0. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and lastly, this one is 4, okay? Now, as you can see, I already have some of these values calculated, but I'll explain how they were done. Okay, this is not max, this is min. So we want it to be in the least cost. That's why we're always looking for the min. Okay, I'm going to explain the formula once I actually get to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. But you have to know that this is for your grid. This is for a spot in your grid. Okay, this is I, this is J. Okay, so 1, 1 at M, 1, 1, this. It's A1. At M2, 2, it's A2, and so on. Okay? You already have A1 through A4 given, okay? So that's why they have no cost and no P. P is the position where you're going to put your multiplication sign, where you're going to put your point, your parentheses themselves, okay? It's how we're going to make the execution tree if I get to that part of the video. So, first off, how to get A1 and A2. Well, A1 and A2 is just going to be themselves, okay? It's only, see, if you're doing A1 and A2, the only option to multiply A1 and A2 is with each other. You can do A2, then A1, or there's no other way. It's only these two. I am just scribbling now. Okay, so you only have this option. This is the only way that you can multiply them. While A1 through A3, you'd have multiple options here. So you just have to look at the dimensions of A1 and A2. So, whoops, we're ahead. 2 by 8 and 8 by 6, if my memory serves me right. 8 by 6. So 2 by 8, 8 by 6. You get rid of the middle dimensions and you only end up left with 2 by 6. So that's why it's a 2 by 6 there. Next is, if you were going to look at these values, it would end up just being these two, and both of them have a cost of 0, so this would be 0, this would be 0. So the only things you need are your dimensions, and that's D0, D1, and D2, because it's the, why do I have a 2 there? I meant 6. 6, or wait. I think I was just saying what I was writing down when I was writing it down, so please excuse me while I pause and fix it. Okay, I fixed it. I was just thinking out loud and writing the numbers I was thinking. So yeah, 2, 8, 6, 4, and 4. Written correctly, not me spazzing. So that means only our dimensions 2, 8, and 6, because 2, 8, and 6. So 2 times 8 times 6, which is going to be 96. And that is what we write in here, is 96. Only one spot for the parentheses, which is always what our middle one is, which is our k, so a 1. If you did that for this one, you would end up having the dimensions d1, because it's 8, 6, and because it's 8, 6, and 4, 8, 6, and 4, so 2 is your middle one, that's why it's a P2. Just multiply them, you get the answer. And same thing over here. And that's how we get this diagonal. Now, A1 and A3, I already kind of wrote it out, but it looks messy. So I am going to try and rewrite it and explain it simpler in the next, hopefully, 10 minutes. Please. Okay, I cleaned it up. A1 through A3. So we're going to do I to J minus 1 because you can't have it at J because the formula at this point says K plus 1. So if you had it to J, you'd end up going to 2. So you'd end up going to 3, and then you'd have 4 here, which that position doesn't even exist on our table really, because at 4, 3, there's nothing. And that's why you have to remember it's to J minus 1. Okay? Our first K is going to be 1. So when our I is 1, this is our I, this is our K, K plus 1, J, I minus 1, K, and then another J, if you need a refresher and you don't have a formula. So 1, 1 for K, K plus 1 plus 1 is 2, 3, plus I, 1 minus 1 is 0, D1, 3, D0, and so on. This represents doing position at 1, 1, so 1, 1, which is A1, times the position at 2, 3, and 2 and 3 is A2 by A3. So this would look like A1 times A2 times A3. That's this option, okay? When K is equal to 2, it is still 1 because that's our I. This is now 2 plus M at 3, 3 plus D0 still. This is now D2 times D3. Okay? Then this option is going to be A1 times A2 first, then by A3. Because 1, 2 is A1, A2, and then 3 is just A3. So that's that option. Now let's remember when K is equal to 1, we're looking at M11. M11 has a cost of 0. So this is 0. M23, if you remember, has a cost of 96. So it's plus 96 plus the dimensions, which are going to be 2, 8, and 4. This will give us a total of 256. When K is equal to 2, this is now, looked at the wrong one, 96, 192. Give me a second. Yeah, it is 2, 3 that we're looking at. So 2, 3, 192 right there. Sorry, I looked at the wrong one for a quick second. Okay, and then 1, 2 is 96. So 1, 2 is 96. Then we're going to look at 3, 3. 3, 3 is 0. So it's going to be a plus 0 plus our dimensions, which are 2 by 6 by 4. And this will give us 144. Now, if you remember, we're getting the minimum value of these, and that minimum value is 144. That means that this K is the one that we have chosen, okay? That means that we have chosen when K is equal to 2, and that is going to be our P, because we are putting our parenthesis at this point, okay? Because we want to do this option, okay? So when we write it, that's why A1, A3 has a value of P is 2, because that's the K we've chosen. Our other value right here is 144. That's the M we have chosen because it is the smallest. Now you're probably wondering, how do we get our dimensions? Well, it's really easy. That's based off of which ones we've chosen. We've chosen this one, so M at 1, 2, and we have chosen M at 3, 3. Well, M at 1, 2 is 2 by 6, and M at 3, 3 is 6 by 4. 6 by 4. Get rid of the middle dimensions, you only end up with a 2 by 4. So this is a 2 by 4. Not that hard. Well, I'm nearly out of time on this video. Sorry, it's kind of a mess, but I'm not used to teaching and my screen's broken, so it's a little hard. Sometimes it doesn't write the way I want it to. I'm going to hopefully finish up this part of the table in the next video. This will be easy. This is the same way that we did this one, just do it with this one. Same method. I'll show you how to do this one because you may have a little bit more trouble because it's more options maybe. And then because we'll have this value, I'll create the parenthesized solution and the execution tree. And then we'll be done.